till the dawn. Till the dawn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a lovely Sunday night. Tonight, got some topics to go over about particular individual. First, though, I want to address that, and this is, trust me, this is relevant to the stream. Lately, there has been a lot of talk in the commentary community about pedophilia and lolicon, and I will be talking about that a bit as well in order to give context about tonight's person of interest, but it won't be the main focus of tonight's show. And I also want to clarify that the person, I'm not accusing him of being involved with that stuff. He's just been shooting his mouth off about the topic. Like any normal human being, I believe child rapists deserve death, pedophiles deserve to be put into asylums for study, and all visual forms of child pornography, including drawings, should be banned. I hate to live in a world where I have to be emphatic about my stance against child abuse, but here we are. But I don't think most of the people coming here to listen to this show, even the detractors, would have any strong disagreements with me on this. And let me just show you an example of the kind of big brain discussion that I'm talking about. Let me just read this off real quick. This is LA-based comedian addressing one Hef. Question for Dax Herrera, that's the person behind this account. Why in the fuck would you go out of your way to befriend this person after a statement like this? Suspect as fuck. And here in the clip, he's defending jacking off to drawn images of children, like in sexual situations, that sort of thing. And he responds with this: because I am a sophisticated gentleman who realizes that pornography is fantasy and often a way for people to cope with childhood trauma. Unless you're suggesting that women who have rape fantasies support sexual assault. Are you suggesting that, Karen? Yeah, that's the kind of caliber of discussion that we've been dealing with. And don't get it twisted. I think that Dax Herrera is a complete degenerate. And he's just and it just seems like he's making these comments to arguably to defend the lolicon practices of Digibro and take up for Ralph, who, as I discussed last night, groomed an 18-year-old and released a little bit of revenge porn on her afterwards. Yeah, charming. And I know that the anime lawyer man has had some hot takes on the subject as well about how pedos shouldn't be locked up because of free speech or whatever libertarian bullshit he's been spewing out these days, with a little bit of gunk guarding thrown into boot. But fuck all that. I saw a video or two of a guy that I've given props to in the past that makes me question if giving him such adoration was really deserved to begin with. And that person's none other than People's Populist Press, most often shortened to PPP. Let's get him on screen. Show him in all of his glory, so to say. Just pull that up. Here we go. Wrong thing. There we go. Okay. So who is this guy? Quick introduction to who Ashton is, that being his real name, and as we'll refer to him henceforth. Ashton is a pudgy Canadian son of a preacher who launched his YouTube career making evangelical videos spreading the word of Jesus alongside his live-in partner, Surfer. And let me show you that guy as well. Give me a moment. You can see him also. As you can see, he is about as thin as Ashton is fat, making one another a complementary pair like two fruits in a bowl. But he is not really the focus of tonight's stream. I figured that you should know who he is in case he should come up in the course of this stream. Let me get you another picture of Ashton. However, in a world that exists in a fallen state, the road of being a humble evangelical on the internet did not give him the attention he so wants, and as such, he moved on to something more relevant, the political spheres, fighting the culture war to help get Donald Trump elected. And by 2018, found himself networking with internet blood sports personalities, most notably Godwinson, who is known for his Sean Connery impersonation as he rants about various e-celebs in a very creative and embellished style. After getting caught with his pants down, a rather matter-of-fact incident I will be going into more detail later, Ashton eventually took a short leave of absence before returning and making the occasional drama video alongside doing cooking videos with his loyal housemate Surfer. Eventually, he picked up a cult following due to his uncompromising stance against low-hanging fruit like Ethan Ralph, Andy Worski, and many other notorious e-celebs, always making a fresh video, capitalizing every fuck-up and failing they had, keeping tabs on their threads on the Kiwi Farms forums, and live streams relentlessly, as he did everything to prove to the world that he was better than them. This culminated to a head this year when Ashton went on an all-out offense on all of his enemies, doing a stream nearly every single day since late April on every one of his enemies, particularly with Ethan Ralph as his focal point. All of his enemies this year have been connected to Ethan in some way, shape, or form, and it is curious to note that shortly after one of his enemies, Joshua Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms, had a falling out with Ethan, they became bestest of friends with a tight bond and alliance between one another. Then, after that Gunt threw himself under a moving truck by dropping his own sex tape, which may have violated Virginia's revenge porn laws, as mentioned earlier, Ashton did what any good Christian would do and inordinately gorged himself on steak and lobster. Let me pull that up. And he says right here, which celebratory mukbang gives a poll for this act of gluttony? McDonald's, Wendy's, Pad Thai, and then adds lobster and steak. And then he sticks to steak and lobster. In fact, let me show you what that looks like.
Hey, guess who's back with the game? Optics man with the cutlass style. You guys rock it. Hot shit, hot check all the boxes. Engage the cut switch. Boot up the cutlass. Guess it's time for me to be Dean Ralph and me. Barely legal team. So it's Temple team beats us.
It's a good day. I got my steak and my lobster tail. I got my biscuits. I got my clam chowder. I got my butter to go on it all. I got my popcorn to go after. The based red lobster.
All right, I think you get the point of that. But why turn on PPP? Have you not said yourself, John, that you find the Turbo Audis entertaining? Have you not mirrored one of his flag down streams even? Because it has become apparent to me that PPP isn't as morally outstanding as he tries to make himself out to be. Oh, sure, he doesn't take any money, aside from that one stream where he did, but since when has the issue been with people making money? I thought the problem was people making money in a dishonest fashion, not merely soliciting donations to support a creator's channel or live show. I even told Ashton myself that he should make money off the content he produces. Far from being the happy-go-lucky autistic man-child who fights the good fight, what really fuels him is the same spiteful and petty attitudes that all the other e-celebs in the drama community hold, and, of course, the attention. So, the real problem that I have with this guy is he's a hypocrite. He tells everyone not to follow e-celebs and often gives sound reasons for why people shouldn't be following them, while making himself an e-celeb with all the same problems he rails against: the pride, the ego, the failure to actually achieve something with his life, etc. But apparently, everyone's like, oh, yeah, we should totally get on board with this guy because he's really owning Ralph. That's the thing. And lately, he's been leading the crusade against Dax Herrera and child pornography. And I'll show you why that doesn't really make a lot of sense in a moment. Okay, let me go to the first of those links. So, the first interesting thing to note is that, like, this whole thing about PPP versus Ralph, this all started not, like, recently. This started back in 2018, of all things. Back in the day, PPP wasn't so opposed to Ralph as he is now. He went ahead and relied on him. He went ahead and decided that, oh, I got some big brain post in our chat saying that he's Antifa. I'm pressing X to doubt on that one. I think that's kind of bullshit. But in any event, let's go to something a little bit more relevant. So real quick, just for context, this is back in November of 2018 when Ralph was on the kill stream. He's about to showcase a video that PPP made.
So this was posted earlier, sent to me as well. I guess we're just gonna video play at this point. Why not? This is a Lulbertarian. He has something to say about V. I actually haven't seen this one. I watched one of his other videos. I'm not sure if he's a fan of the kill stream or what, but he seems to know everything that's going on. V, the creepy capo. By the way, look at his wall. Don't tread on me. The don't tread on me snake flag. A bunch of African, like, tribal masks. I don't know what. How would you describe this setup here, Zidane?
Autistic.
Dallas Cowboys hat. Don't ruffle my feathers. Is that Donald Duck on his shirt?
Odd.
It's odd. Yeah, it's odd. I don't know if we'll play the whole thing.
Now, I want you to note here that this is how, like, they present the video. They're only showing this video because PPP is shitting on V Monroe, and they're commenting on how autistic he's presenting it. And I think there's a point in there. I don't want to play this whole thing because it goes on too long. But let me just zoom ahead to a certain point in the video wherein PPP makes this really weird, bizarre comment that just kind of shows his caliber presentation.
All right, let's continue. 336.
By his daddy Sargon, you know, by his liberalist dad, and it's kind of fucking sickening, really. And I'm impressed about this connection to jerk off to, like, real pictures, like an anime cartoon forum, and he's begging for help. And it turned out that this hentai forum that V was begging for help and trying to make into his personal army was actually a Shota forum.
Right.
And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Shota it's cartoon pornographic images of little boys. Okay? So this sick fuck doesn't even jerk off to, like, real pictures of little boys. He jerks off to fucking pictures of cartoon little boys. And he gets off also on getting degraded.
Can I pause it at 336? Would it make it better if it was actual little boys that he was jerking off to?
Yeah, I was about to say that's weird. Yeah. That's fucking weird.
Like,
As criticisms go, you don't jerk off to real boys is a weird one. That's a fucking strange line to draw.
Kind of sounds like something that Sargon would say in the heat of the moment.
I'm not sure that makes it any better. By the way, the channel of the anime.
Okay, so, yeah, as you can hear that was the guest, like Kevin Logan, some kind of lefty faggot, dunking on PPP. Yeah. So, PPP didn't like that. He, since then, turned on Ralph and decided to, like, go after him for being, like, you know, oh, he's making money and stuff, but never really formulate that argument very well until like he developed it years later. But this caused him to go into a downward spiral. How bad of a downward spiral? Well, we all made fun of Ralph for dropping a sex tape. But PPP had his own little incident that I'm sure many of you are aware. Let me show that real quick. Funny enough, this is actually saved on the PPP archive channel for some reason. I don't know why. It's not a good look. But let me pop that up and show it.
You know,
and also the kill stream commentary on this is going to be relevant for a point that's going to come up later on.
I was too busy an hour ago on Streamy. I was watching a guy spread his asshole.
Oh no, please.
Now, Gator, I have the photograph, but I don't think, and I actually took it myself. But you know, it's against Streamy's.
Why would you do
it's
that?
Against Streamy's terms of service. Do you think you could blur this out real quick and then upload it so I could?
No,
I
I
Why are you sending it to me? I don't
just blur
see
that out
this
for
guy's
me so we can
asshole.
show it. I can't pull it up as it is.
Haha, you get the nasty ass job, Gator.
Jesus.
Just actually, hold
Don't
on.
blur
Actually, you
that
know what?
asshole.
Let me find the tool. I can blur it. Just give me a sec. Give me a second, chat. Oh, that's not enough blur. Jesus. Hold on.
His ass is
We
pretty
need
big.
the thicker level of blur on this. Hold on. We need the full pixelation.
You need pixels.
We-
I was about to say, you
yeah.
need fucking pixels,
Hold
man.
on, give me a sec. Oh man, but there's the ball sack hangs down, so you end up having to blur everything.
I didn't see that, and I am so
You know what I'm talking about?
happy.
So you would think you would just blur the
Thank
asshole
you.
or whatever, but the ball sack hangs down about 30 feet, so you have to blur it all.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's against my religion to see men's asshole.
All right. I think this is enough. You know, we have to stay compliant. And I was watching it. I actually tweeted it out. He kept saying there were only 4.
I'm not looking at this.
Okay, yes, that's right. He showed his starfish right on stream. Like, this is pathetic. Like, really? This is what he did. And why the fuck would he do that? Now, I don't have like a perfect memory of all the events that went down. I certainly didn't tune in for this particular segment of PPP's meltdown stream, but I do remember it, and PPP was saying a lot of shit. Ralph, sometime in this clip, does mention that he heard him recite his address out live on air. This guy is clearly not like very mentally stable for him to have like a complete meltdown like that. That's not the kind of guy you want to look forward to. And keep in mind, he's displaying himself on a website publicly for the world to see. Everywhere out there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the PPP stands have a point. Maybe there was a really good, big-brained reason why he did this. Let's go look into that. Because PPP does provide an explanation, which I will get up in a second. And I'll just have to pull that up. Oh, and one more thing. No, actually, no, I'll show that in a second. Let me show this part first.
Question.
Now, this is from a stream that he did with apparently 2 other Christian YouTubers, I'm guessing. It's not really clear who these other 2 guys are. I don't know the backstory, the lore behind them. I don't think it's relevant. But this is him explaining himself as to the logic behind it. And I've clipped this segment for a reason, because this is the one where he distinctly addresses it.
From the chat is, what was the motivation behind doing such an act in the first place?
Well, I had promised the folks that there was going to be a blood sport match that night. And I could not deliver on it because my opponent bailed out.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, I have to put on a one-man show. I promised people blood. And so I drank a whole 40 ounce of liquor. And I went into the stream with the full intention of pulling down my pants and doing that. And I went into the stream with the full intention of putting thumbtacks into my head and bleeding. And I went into the stream with the full intention of, going completely insane. And the reason I did it was simply because, honestly, I felt that my ideas have some weight to them, that they should maybe be discussed or given attention. And I also wanted to make it up to the audience for failing to deliver to them what I had promised.
So when I promise something, I want to deliver it to the audience. And I felt that that was the best way to give them the horror show spectacle that they were promised.
Does anyone believe this bullshit? Does anyone sincerely believe that because he could not have the debate he promised to his audience, they would instead want him to expose himself? And he's leaving out context here because he got completely butt naked on that stream. Here is a safe for work picture of that, which I will show in a moment. Put this in this tab here. Yeah. This was taken from the stream itself. He's also leaving out the fact that he was also viewed at the same time on YouTube. He was multi-streaming. He got taken down from streaming, and then he went to YouTube and went with his spurging, ranting, and raging, and yelling, and crying, and shit like that. He announced his address to the world. He put the thumbtacks in his head. Does anyone believe that this was all planned? No, I don't believe that for a second. This is PPP coping and trying to frame it as this big intellectual exercise of sorts of delivering a promise that was undelivered. But it gets better because I think you should listen to the rest of this clip as well.
So as a twofer, you're promising you're giving the audience what you promised, which is a goat essentially, and also communicating your ideas through it, because you will therefore believe all publicity is good publicity. Then I'm sure.
Exactly.
How can you not?
Exactly. I mean, I've read The Art of the Deal. Nobody says they're the fourth best pizzeria. You always say you're the best. You always, if you're willing to act in ways that are outrageous or crazy, people will pay attention. And then hopefully some good might be done. But I'm not willing to leave any tactic off the table because it's bad optics. It clearly.
Okay, I've never read Art of the Deal. I would also never reference Art of the Deal like I'm some guy of importance that I have to go ahead and compare myself to Donald Trump low-key. But I don't think, I'm going to take a guess and say that if Trump ever said, I'm not going to leave any tactic off the table, I don't think he entailed in that, showing your asshole in front of the whole world for all the people to see, including people as young as 13 years of age that were allowed to use the site. Seriously.
It really worked. People want to discuss it. Why would a guy with a brain like this guy spread his asshole on stream? That doesn't make any sense. And it's almost, in a sense, quite like 9/11. People have no idea how it happened. They want to discuss it. It's a horror.
The real 9/11 of the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Not the Gamergate shit, but what PPP did on that stream was the real 9/11. Bravo.
Show seeing my asshole like that, for sure.
Do you think John Wesley would have showed his ass on cam?
I think Martin Luther would have. I think Martin Luther would have, because he preached a lot of times when he was drunk, and in a totally inebriated, insane fashion. And he did a lot of things Martin Luther did as the father of the Reformation that we would frown upon now. Now, I've personally preached sermons where I've been drunk and the audience never noticed. I've done that, where I was stinking of booze and maybe they noticed, but they never did, never complained. I've been a hypocrite in a lot of my Christian life. And I've done a lot of things that are sinful and justified it in my head that I now know are wrong. And one of those things, honestly, was spreading my ass, in the sense that it was very sinful to do that. However, I believe that good could come from it, in the sense that this stream has happened where I'm now able to articulate my ideas in a more intellectual format, whereas I wouldn't have had that platform had I not done such a thing.
Okay, so to unpack that, he's comparing himself to Martin Luther, the guy who took the 39 objections to the Catholic Church, nailed it to a wall, and started the Protestant Reformation, along with some other key reformers at the time. Does anyone buy this shit? Is this just a load of malarkey? This is just a huge cope on PPP's part. And the proof of that is that, remember, he took a hiatus sometime during 2018 over this shit. He, ran off. This is not true in any sense. And he said he did this as this big intellectual exercise. You heard it from his own words himself. So it's yeah, I did this for more exposure. Yeah, people went to you because you were a retard. You told the world, hey guys, I'm a retard, look at me, and all the people like laughing retards and throwing tomatoes at them went to you. You didn't gain an audience of people who are interested in like any kind of big brain societal changes that you have to offer. And I want to show another clip that doesn't really, from the same stream, that doesn't get shown as much. People are probably all familiar with that one, who've been observant of PPP, but I don't really see this one being brought up much because it's also relevant.
Happy.
Well, do you mind if I ask a question then? Like,
neoliberalism.
A lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said, hey, you have very similar ideas to Jordan Peterson.
Well, we're asking you. What do you
Yeah.
think? Or Sargon of Akkad, another liberalist.
Yeah. Where I would disagree with them is that I am a Christian, first and foremost. I've always been a Christian. I believe that the Christian way of living is the best way of living, even if there was no God, which sounds very much like what Peterson subscribes to, except that I'm willing to say that there is a God. I believe in him. I believe in Jesus Christ. I want to make that perfectly clear. I believe that, the style of living that Jesus laid out in the Sermon on the Mount, and again, as the Apostle Paul laid out in the book of Romans and the system of salvation there, is very, very important. And I'd like to see it preserved as part of Western civilization because I genuinely believe in it. It's not just a fake sort of hocus pocus belief or a scheme to get money, although I do make money based off of my Christian work. But
I'd also like you guys to remember this. That's how PPP makes his money. Does it through his preaching while he's drunk, as you mentioned previously, as I heard in the previous clip, and his evangelizing. He gets money, as he's about to say, from his congregation, which is odd to me because this guy will attack anybody who makes money for just about any reason, and that doesn't really make sense. That's never made sense to me.
Entirely between myself and my congregation.
How does your...
real quick, if this is the only true differentiating quality between someone like yourself and Sargon or Peterson, you being a Christian of whatever denomination, how does that filter exactly into your politic then?
Not so much. I mean, I'm right wing. There's no disguising it that I am, a right winger. I've been a left winger in the past. Today, I would describe myself as a right winger. Although a lot of this disgusting stuff I'm seeing happening in conservative movements when they're starting to win in the culture war leads me towards the belief that the left wing has some good ideas that I'm overlooking from the past. So now...
could you perhaps stipulate what disgusting things you're referring to in reference to the conservatives and what you're seeing in the culture wars as it progresses?
The disgusting thing I'm finding is that conservatives are letting other people do their thinking for them.
I'm not sure what that means.
They're following e-celebs. Whatever the e-celeb of the day says is their opinion on things. And they never really consider it or do any reading or any research outside of YouTube. And that's what I find disgusting. I mean, when you have people like Spencer saying what he says, I don't really find it disgusting so much as I find it amusing that he holds those views because I don't find them to be possible for the vast majority of people to hold those views, and therefore they'll never gain mainstream acceptance.
That's acceptable, of course. But first off, I wouldn't necessarily describe Spencer, and indeed I doubt he himself would, as a conservative. But secondly, is this not simply endemic of people in general?
Okay. So he wants to make himself out to be this big conservative player, this right-wing kind of guy, and he wants to lecture about my Christian beliefs influence me, but not really all that much and stuff like that. The issue I'm having here, and I think PPP finishes this point in the rest of the clip, is that he thinks that people, actually, just pay attention to that. Remember, this is a guy who wants an audience, who's growing an audience, who wants his ideas to be credible and influential and be considered an intellectual, his own choice of word there, and at the same time, though, listen to what he says, and he's called out Richard Spencer and other people on the right as being these toxic players that ruin the right wing. And I'm just going to say right here, no one really gives a fuck about Richard Spencer. Not by this point. Richard Spencer is not a respected person at all. The only people Richard Spencer was able to cultivate a following with was retarded white supremacists. I mean, the most dumbest of them of all. But listen to what he says here.
Well, they follow certain either contemporary or historical figures.
Yes, people will always
Internet,
follow
if you will, right? I mean, is this not? Is the left, the liberals, Christians even, are they not equally as guilty of this? And you have an entire denomination, the Roman Catholics, has done exactly what they do.
It is exactly what they do, and they're guilty of it as well. And I
Well,
condemn it.
I'm not critiquing either denomination here, but my point is that I don't see this as necessarily endemic of the. Well, you described this a disgusting quality of conservatism. I don't necessarily see it as inherent to conservatism.
It's not inherent. Hold on. You're trying to nail me to the cross here.
No, I am.
You are. You actually are.
I'm Jewish, so I don't do that sort of thing. I'm just asking you to clarify what you mean, because you cited something.
However you want to clarify. Like, I'm not trying to dodge your questions. I'm answering as honestly as I can. To be honest, I'm feeling disrespected by you. I don't even know who you are, for one.
Okay, well, I mean, do you need to know? You don't know really where Adam is, of course. Let's calm down, big boy. Let's calm down.
No, but we can talk over each other all we want. But the reality is, you're coming at me like I have something.
I'm not coming at you. No, I'm just asking you. You asked, what is this? I asked you if something is disgusting, particularly about the Conservatives, because you said so, and I'm more than happy to listen. And then you said, oh, they follow Islams, correct? Okay.
For sure. Okay. It's not inherent to the conservative movement. It's something that I'm seeing in our movement that I didn't used to see years ago. That concern.
I just asked you to clarify. I'm not sure where this animosity is coming from, my friend. There's no nailing to the crosses here.
Again, like I might have lost my temper there a little bit, but what I'm seeing from you is an attempt to equivocate me with Jordan Peterson.
No, I asked you if it is similar. You said, I don't know, and I said, that's fair. And then I'm now trying to deduce some further positions of your politics. We've listened to you 2 hours now, right?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. So ask me a particular policy, and I'll give you my position.
Okay, so if you took all that in, what PPP is saying is basically, oh, people are just listening to other people, they're not thinking about it, and these people shouldn't be doing that. They should be like looking things up themselves and just realizing and being independent thinkers, or some dumb basic bitch libertarian conservative talking point. The problem with this is that this is not how the world operates ever or at all. The truth of the matter is you're going to need people to rely on, such as, people who in this case, political analysts, people who are in positions that are knowledgeable in the subject matter and who are honest in those subject matters to like give you information to download what's going on. Or when it comes to religion, people who have a robust understanding of theology, which is why you have priests, ministers, etc. PPP himself being someone who has a congregation that relies on him. And the thing is, PPP in that moment realizes there's a flaw with his argument, his stance, that's overly broad. He's not making the point well enough because he's not that smart. He's retarded. He doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. The issue there is that his point should be that they're relying on people who have no qualifications, no credentials, and are just ill-informed and uninformed. You can see that just by looking at what they have to say, but people are just relying on them to confirm their own biases. That's a complicated point, but PPP can't make it because he's not good at arguing shit. And when he sees the flaw in the argument, he gets mad and he gets agitated and he reacts hostilely towards the guy making the question, asking him the question, and then he tries to change the subject. Now, the reason why this is all relevant isn't because I'm trying to go ahead and hammer PPP just for the sake of hammering him or to make fun of this spurg or whatever. It's because this is the guy who wants to go ahead and challenge people in a public way to fight the crusade against child pornography in a debate against guys like Dick Masterson and Digibro. This is what he wants. He said that. So the question is this guy really cut out for this kind of thing? Is this the guy that we want to bolster as the real truth teller who's different than all the rest? This Canadian autistic spurg who's never held a real job that we know of in his life? Like, let's be real here. And that kind of segues into the next issue, which would be some more recent shit that's gone down. So, let's see. So after that tweet and several other tweets that have happened during the whole... So if you recall that first tweet I showed at the very beginning of the stream where Dick Masterson was taking up for Lolicon. Ashton, PPP, had some very harsh words to say in retaliation to Dick Masterson. says, why does Dick love pedophiles so much and defend them so vigorously? I get you're a libertarian, but fuck, man. You have to draw a line somewhere. Why won't you cut ties with these sickos? Something fishy, sickening, depraved, Dax. And on top of that, he takes it a step further. He's not done yet. He says, if Dax really thinks that pedophiles getting the death penalty is hate speech, I don't think he should have any credibility on anything, and he himself should probably be hung from the neck until death. Okay. Like, I wouldn't mind to see personally, I wouldn't I'd shed a tear if Dick Masterson was to hang tomorrow. But there's a bit of a problem here. There is a bit of a big problem with all this. And that's, and I'll get into in a second. But I also want to show another clip from PPP's stream yesterday on the pedophilia issue. Let me go ahead to that.
Judith Becker, a psychiatrist and professor at the University of Arizona. This is, again, from the Daily.
Now, to give context here, and PPP will explain a bit of this, PPP is going over some old statements that Dick Masterson said back in 2016 about how, I think the exact quote was something along the quote was, I believe, if I was, quote unquote, if I was a pedophile, I wouldn't seek therapy. That's what Dick Masterson said. And PPP is right for condemning him. But there's a particular way this guy condemned him that makes me go, nah, this is not the guy to be doing this.
She conducted a cognitive behavioral therapy for some of these pedophiles, right, trying to solve the problem. She found that some pedophiles say that in their involvement with children, they've actually regarded themselves as being of the same age as their victims. It's kind of interesting. During these encounters, Becker said that it's as if they slipped back into a much earlier...
Some of this is Maddox. Maddox is talking about this study, okay? Maddox is saying pedophiles are the biggest problem in the universe. Dick is saying audiophiles are the biggest problem in the universe. I just wanted to very quickly play the audio clip, but I decided to give it a few minutes of context, so just bear with us.
Development, or perhaps never graduated beyond that in the first place. And Becker also points out that many pedophiles don't operate with cold clarity about the ethics of what they're doing. Instead, they weave a cognitive distortion that absolves them of guilt or responsibility. They say things like, well, the child didn't say no, or it happened to me, therefore it's okay, or I love the child. They actually think that they're in love with the child.
Oh, yeah. That now we got a Lenny situation happening.
Yeah.
That can't be fixed or dealt with.
If they do actually think that they're a
child. If they're starting to justify it,
well, it's
a Rooney.
But it is a cognitive.
But yet Digibro justifies it, Dax. And you defend it and you enable it. What are you going to say when Digibro fucking harms a child, man? What are you going to say? What are you going to say, man? Oh, that's a shame. His phone was probably hacked. And you know that you could have stopped it. You know that you could have done something to stop the child from being molested, but you let the child be molested. Is that what, you're just going to sit there and suck your own dick? Yeah, it was an impersonator, right? Fucking disgusting.
Bias. It's a cognitive distortion that they're doing.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. That's right. That's right, Five Finger Full Price. Because he's a nihilist, he doesn't even care. He'll probably laugh. Ha 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 ha! Ha ha ha! The child was molested. Sean, can you believe it? The child was molested, Sean! Ha 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 ha! Oh, I just want to nail this guy to a fucking cross. To a fucking tree and let him just fucking hang off it by fucking nails as he chokes on his own fucking blood. Just thinking about it.
Okay, so this is the guy who's gonna go ahead and talk about the serious issue of like child rape, pedophilia, lolicon, etc. He wants Dick Masterson dead. And I don't blame him for having that desire, to be honest. I don't. But there's a problem with all this. Isn't this, like, not very Christian? Does this really speak to Jesus Christ's message on the Sermon on the Mount and going ahead and going off and saying that, turn the other cheek, love thy neighbor as thyself, thou shalt not kill, that sort of thing? Well, PPP has a response to that, but I found it rather interesting. how he responded to it. I'm going to pull that up as well.
He did a whole debate saying that audiophiles are worse than pedophiles. And I'm giving you some full context to the statement he's going to make, which is that if Dick Masterson was a pedophile, he wouldn't seek help because it would be part of his nature, just the same as if he's heterosexual. I think that if you can't change that, you need to be killed. That's what I think. I think that if it's unfixable, you are such a danger and menace to society, and you are so evil and fucked up, you need to be killed. That's what I believe. I don't care if people have a problem with that. I don't care if Dax Herrera says that it's hate speech or Dick Masterson says it's hate speech to say that pedophiles should be hung from the neck until dead if they can't be fixed. I'm sorry. I care about children. I'm not trying to be a moral fag. And you have faggots in the chat saying that's not very Christian. You know, Jesus said put a millstone around their neck and throw them into the sea. So shut your fucking whore mouth, you atheist swine filth.
Okay, so someone in the chat said Leo Pirate wants on. If he wants on, he can DM me. I'm not going to reach out to him. I don't really care to. But yeah, if he wants to come on and talk about some of this, maybe. But also another thing in the chat said, oh, why should we listen to this fedora tipping atheist on this subject? I'm not an atheist. I'm not a fedora tipper. PPP is just wrong in the point he made. The point that PPP made on that stream is a misconstruing of what Jesus actually said in the Bible. And let me pull those verses up. Okay, so the line about tying a millstone around your neck and throwing it into the sea comes from 3 verses: Luke 17:2, Matthew 18:6, Mark 9:4-2. And I'm going to show you the context in which those verses are made. And then I'm going to show you why this is just, this is not accurate, what PPP is saying. And this is from the King James Version, in case anyone's keeping track of that. It says here, then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible but that offenses will come, but woe unto him though through whom they came. It were better for him that a milestone were hanged around his neck, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him, and if he repent, forgive him. And then it goes on about a litany of other sins and offenses and what to do in response to that. Also, I'm not saying that Digi is in any way good. Digi deserves to be, at the very least, locked up. And if he was to be run over by a truck the next day, yeah, we'd probably be a safer place. Again, I don't support any of the pedo sex shit. The problem is that PPP doesn't know what he's talking about here. And someone in the chat said, better be KJV. I'm using KJV because PPP will probably go into an argument about which Bible version is the best. KJV is like, okay, it's decent. It's got some errors and mistakes in it. But for the most part, except for some specific verses, it's a fine rendition of the Bible. Also, Hef says he was making a joke. Yeah, fair enough. In any event, the next one over here, Matthew 18:6. I put that up on screen here. At the same time, they came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, "Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a milestone were hanged around his neck, and that he were drowned to the depth of the sea." So again, and it goes on, woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom that offense cometh. This is not a prescription about executing pedophiles. That's not correct. That's not an accurate translation of this verse. What Jesus is saying is not to spread scandal unto children or other ones who consider themselves children in Christ. That is what Jesus' message here means. It has nothing to do with going out and murdering pedophiles, as PPP says should happen to Dax, apparently. And for the last verse, just so that we're have everything covered here, Mark chapter 9, verse 42. Scroll down a bit. I'll start with Mark 9, with 41. For whosoever shall give you a cup of water to drink in my name, because ye belong to Christ, verily I say unto you, he shall not lose his reward. And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged around his neck, and he were cast into the sea. And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is quenched. And he goes on to talk about other matters. The point of that passage is not that, yeah, we should go ahead, hunt pedophiles, tie nooses around their neck, and throw them with milestones into the sea. Again, it's about committing the sin of scandal onto others. Furthermore, and it also should be noted that when Christ speaks, it's often done through metaphor. This is also something I don't think PPP gets. I don't think he understands. I don't think he understands the Bible really all that well. And the thing is, the Bible actually does have passages in it that does support the death penalty. But PPP wouldn't know where to cite those. He just cited this one to be edgy and to justify his position by just quoting the Bible out of context. And I will also get that verse up for you as well. Romans chapter 19, verses 1 through 4. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise for the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he breatheth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. And the sword being the power of life and death. This is a good biblical argument for the death penalty right here. The one that PPP made, he's just quote mining the Bible and using it to spin his own narrative, as Protestants are often want to do. Now, with that out of the way, and the reason I bring this up is because, again, he wants to be the guy who's standing up against these people, and he can't be that guy. He's not qualified for it. He's not capable of being such. And let's see. There's another part of that stream I'm going to play. And let me link that here. And again, people keep on bringing up Leo Pirate. Leo Pirate hasn't contacted me. If he did want to contact me, he knows how to reach me. This wouldn't be difficult at all.
I have been trying my fucking best for the...
And again, for those just tuning in, this is PPP doing his rant on his position about all this pedo shit going on with Dick Masterson, making these arguments and defenses for it, with Digibro saying that he jacks off to Lolly constantly, and with other sorts of issues. Also, I find it funny that in the chat someone's accusing me of being a Bible faggot now. That's funny.
I have been trying my fucking best for the last fucking 2 days. The last 2 days to let this go. To try and be like, he's just kidding. Nobody actually thinks this shit. It's an epic troll there. But come on, guys. even if this is a troll, a lot of people are going to take this seriously. A lot of people will try and use these arguments to defend this shit. And you know what this is going to lead to? It's going to lead to children being harmed. Yes, it will. If even one child is harmed as a result of this shit, oh my God. And it's not fake. Like, this isn't like the fake morality hour. Oh my God, did you hear that he said the word fuck? Oh, oh. This isn't the fake morality hour. Oh my God, somebody drank a beer. Oh, oh, somebody had a toke of marijuana. Oh, oh. No, this is somebody defending the exploitation of children. This isn't the fake morality hour. This isn't me on a hug box, soapbox, whatever the fuck you want to call it, screaming about how the world's wrong, you know, and I'm right. No, this is just fucking disgusting. This is disgusting. And it cannot stand. And if we tolerate this man, and if we allow this man to have any sort of voice anywhere, we are actually actively allowing children to be harmed. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a right to his freedom of speech. He does. But his speech is actually becoming fucking dangerous. And we should not allow that to go unanswered. There are consequences to speech like this. When the SJWs say that speech have consequences, they are right. When you say shit like this, when you say that we should allow the children to be molested, or we should allow the child predators to fucking jerk off to this shit and become more hopelessly addicted to fucking molesting children, it's dangerous. And you have to face consequences for that. I'm sorry. I'm not one, like, this is one thing. If he comes out and says, look, it's all jokes, it's all trolling, I'm sorry, then it, you know, it won't be as bad. But I'm just saying, like, holy fuck, man. Holy fuck. This is fucked. It's not allowed. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It's unacceptable. We can't allow this shit. I won't allow it. I just won't. Dax the Diddler, indeed there, Trelane, the based fucking effort poster. Does Patreon know about this? I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that, because that would be deplatforming and evil, right? That's SJW tactics, right? Fuck these fucking people, man. Because all they're going to say is, I'm the SJW, I'm the soccer mom, I'm an evil moral fag, because I don't want children to be exploited or raped. That's what they'll say, and that's what they'll call you too. You're the SJW. You're the SJW PPP, even though you hold completely conservative views in every sphere. Fuck you, you slime.
Okay, so the thing is with this, there's 2 points here. Okay, so keep all that in mind. PPP is very, very clearly saying that people who advocate for child pornography, people who are caught like engaging with it, they should all be the platforms or a danger to society. They're all people that don't deserve speech rights, etc. But wait, there's a big problem. There's 2 issues with this. The first issue being that I thought PPP was a free speech absolutist. I thought he was big on that. That's what I thought he was on about. Now, I have been very adamant and very clear in saying that I'm not a free speech advocate, because I'm not. I don't think that free speech is absolute. I don't think that you should have absolute authority and right to say and do whatever you want. That's bullshit. You should have the right to do, you should have the right to exercise speech in the capacity of which you are in the right to speak. So, for example, things like obscenity, defamation, like intimidation tactics, etc. Those things should be regulated by the government and other private organizations, etc. And the thing is, though, I don't think PPP can admit that the free speech, or if someone points this out to PPP, I don't know what he could possibly do to try to refute the fact that he's not taking the free speech absolutist position anymore. That's the first thing. It just strikes me as changing his position because it's now convenient. And the other thing is, the other issue with that, in addition to that, is there's this big elephant in the room. Well, what about Null? Remember that guy? Remember Joshua Moon, the guy I did a stream on recently? Yeah, last week I showed the whole thing with him going ahead and essentially what Joshua Moon was doing, because if we're going to say that pedophiles deserve to be hanged, disassociated with, deplatformed with, etc., why is PPP so sane with someone who at the age of 20 went ahead and tried to groom a 14-year-old girl? Why did he go ahead and harass her with sexually explicit messages for months about this shit? And yeah, let me pull that up. Because this is my biggest issue with this. And this is going to be relevant soon enough. As we all know, this is the Blockland post. This is the post where Joshua Moon admits that he jacks off to Shota porn. In fact, let me read it for you for those who might not be familiar. Joshua Connor Moon, he does not deny saying this, by the way. This is something he wrote and he admitted to. This is not him memeing or joking in this conversation either. This is something that he's done and presumably does to this day. And there's no and when he comes out and says that, oh, I don't do it anymore, bullshit. PPP just went ahead and said that, like, oh, there's not going to be any redemption or like any kind of healing process for these people. And he shot on people who said that. So we shouldn't believe that Joshua Moon had this magical redemption arc. That's ridiculous. So Joshua Moon here says, all right, time to jerk off to some Neko Shota. Yeah, I'm fucked up. I know. Frowny face. Be right back. Wait, I thought you hated furries. Neko isn't furry. I just Googled it. It was a half cat, half boy. A single cat, a single cat is not equivalent to a dog with some human features, and that's not why I hate furries. And then it links to an image of some of that shit. Also, they are all little boys, hence the word Shota. Yes, you need to learn your lingo. But a boy jacking off to a boy? Regular doesn't cut it for me anymore. I drench my sorrows in procrastination so often that it becomes too hard to get off to heterosexual intercourse for the sole purpose of reproduction. You need to expand your research graphic interests if you do it too often. Okay, I'll go over to /me and start jerking off. /men. I've done it. So, yeah. Joshua Moon, everybody. And if you want the proof that this... And furthermore, some other things that this girl stalking in this Blockland post talks about. And I'll link that for you guys there. Joshua Moon doesn't like people bringing this up. He just tries to dismiss it. He tries to dissuade it. Tries to make up excuses like lying about his age. And makes every kind of excuse. But PPP's okay. He's cool with this guy. And Stalking also says here, I remember after he found out my last name, he said that he'd show up to my house while I was at school, shoot my dad, and wait for me to get home. Then he'd subdue me, cut off each individual digit with a knife heated in hot grease so that it cauterized as it cut, and I wouldn't bleed out. Then he cut off my clitoris and my labia, and then raped my ass until I shat myself. Then he'd just leave me to starve to death or something, once all my appendages and my genitals were sliced off and he'd beaten me sufficiently. Yeah, you could read the rest of the disgusting shit that happened with these Blockland forums. There's more threads like this that I'll be reading in another stream. But it doesn't end there. It does not end there. No, because Josh also likes to run pedophile websites that enable pedophilia. People keep forgetting about this, and I have no idea why. Here's the reason that Patreon said they were shutting down 8chan. 8chan, for those who don't know, was a website that Joshua Connor Moon helped run with Hot Wheels. And this is what they said. And they never disputed this. They never said it was wrong. They just said they had to part ways because the type of content they had on their website was not going to be in line with Patreon's terms of service. And to read this out to you, Frederick, we understand your dedication to free speech in principle, but 8chan is currently being used for a number of activities that violate our new community guidelines. Because we've read your interviews and done significant research on 8chan's story and philosophy, we are aware that you, yourself, don't verbally support a lot of the activities on 8chan. It sounds like free speech is a core value for you, and you're willing to prioritize that principle above all else. While we understand your commitment to free speech, we will not allow 8chan to continue using Patreon, as several boards facilitate the distribution of harmful content and activity. such as illustrated child exploitation imagery. Other violations include facilitating the promotion and or encouragement to commit self-harm, and facilitating the promotion and or encouragement of pedophilia practices. While we are aware that illustrated child exploitation imagery is not illegal in the United States, we take a strict stance, regardless of the law, on the usage of Patreon to fund or facilitate its distribution. Because 8chan in its current state violates our community guidelines, we will be removing your page from Patreon at the end of the month after the next payment cycle. If you feel like our decision was based on false information, if you'd like to change 8chan's content policies, or if you have further questions, please feel free to email us back. The Patreon team. Let me get that. And then there's also a second website that I know Joshua Moon worked on to facilitate pedophilia and child pornography and all other kind of shit. And this was in 2016. So a little backstory behind this one. 8chan towards the end of 2015 decided that all the pedo boards and shit like that, after they got removed from Google search indexing and after they got their Patreon taken down, they decided that, hey, you know what? Fuck the pedos. We're going to ban that kind of content on our website. We don't care if it's not technically illegal anymore. If you post about this shit, you're out. So they decided no more pedophile hubs, which was good on them because this prevents pedophiles from networking. Joshua Moon disagrees though, so he made his own site called 16chan. And here's the thing about 16chan. Welcome to 16chan. 16chan is an image board running Infinity Next, the software originally designed to replace what 8chan runs on. Infinity Next failed to be deployed to 8chan because of politician tensions between Frederick Brennan, Jim Watkins, and myself. When Jim Watkins threatened to shut down 8chan, I bought 16chan and 16chan.ch, these websites, and propped up the site with the idea of running it with Frederick's should Jim kill the site. It was a backup plan and insurance policy. While Jim has yet to shut down 8chan, Frederick was removed from adminship of his own website and has opted to work with Jim as technical assistant. As such, he plays no role in 16chan. This leaves 16chan with me as the sole proprietor, barring hands-off support from allies like the Chinese mafia. Then he has this list of rules. First rule is don't break the law. And yeah, he does have a rule against posting child pornography, but we have to get onto the specifics and the nitty-gritty detail. And here it is in number 3. Contain pedophilia. Not get pedophilia off this website. No, contain pedophilia. Pedophilia must be contained within boards exclusively about child fetishism. Boards about pedophilia must be text only. No images. Threads about children, especially ones with photos, will violate this rule. This includes, but is not limited to, threads for posting pictures of prepubescent children in any context, pictures of prepubescent or very young children that are obviously meant to arouse pedophiles, and threads that obsess over children, like a TV board thread about child actors. Pedophilia is a blight that ruins venues for free speech. Frederick made a mistake by tolerating it. I will not do the same. This does not extend to drawn images, unless drawn the likeness of a real child, as per U.S. federal law. So he's saying that, oh yeah, we're containing pedophilia, we regard the pedophile problem, but we're going to have pedophile hubs, we're going to have pedophile dedicated boards, and we're going to let them in. And give me one quick second. So yeah, and we're supposed to believe that Joshua Moon is no longer a pedophile. He's reformed, guys. He's better. It happened years ago. It doesn't matter, guys. No, fuck that shit. PPP's a cuck. That's what it comes down to. The reality is that PPP is a hypocrite when it comes to this topic and has no business talking about it. And the reason why PPP is allied with Joshua Moon is because he's afraid of the Kiwis. He's afraid of what the Kiwis will say to him. He's afraid of what they'll say about him. And if he doesn't network with Joshua Moon, he's fucked. That's the reality. It's all the same networking game bullshit. And my stance on Kiwi farms and Kiwis period is they're shit. Fuck them. As such, anyone who rolls with them, any of these E-celebs that decide to play buddy-buddy so they don't get made fun of on a forum, is also going to get my ire. Now, in addition to, but what does PPP say about this? What does PPP have to say about the Josh question? We're going to get into that. And I was going to play a rant where PPP gets all autistic and he says that he's like the biggest shit on the internet right now and that everyone wants to go ahead and surround and make content based on him and stuff like that. Well, I mean, by that sense, Ethan Ralph's the hottest shit on the internet because everyone's making content on him, firstly. And secondly, this guy, I mean, it's about the ego for him. It's about the attention that he wants. He wants to be this big e-celeb that's taken seriously, that leads the charge against serious issues. And he does not measure up. He's just as guilty as any of them. So, I'm going to play a clip from PPP's latest stream where he called me out on that stream. Let me get that up real quick. We're going to listen to this, and I'm going to comment on it. Now, for proper context, before I begin this was on a stream clipped from DLive today. PPP and Godwinson did a stream together. They had King of Pole do technical assistance because, of course, they'd have King of Pole on. And they were talking about Dick Masterson, Ethan Ralph, all the people that PPP needs in his life in order for him to have relevancy. And that's the truth of the matter. He's not relevant except in his opposition to these people. If all these people dropped dead tomorrow, PPP would have nothing. There would be no relevancy. He would not get anyone looking at his shows. Except maybe the legions of people that would just want to throw tomatoes at him as he acts like a retard and thinks that he's getting respected. But in any event, I'm gonna play this, and you guys can listen to it.
Some guy in chat is really upset. He's been DMing me fucking constantly on Discord for like 3 days now saying, you and Godwinson have a pedophile's dick in your mouth by associating with Josh. Therefore, everything you have to say is wrong. So, you want to address that, Godwinson? You have Josh's dick in your mouth?
So what? Whatever Josh said on Blockland, didn't that happen like 10 years ago? Happened a decade ago.
Like
right?
13 years ago. Like
13 years ago, right? This is happening now. Digibro is defending, and Dax, Diddler Dax, they're defending pedophilia now. And the reality is, I know you've got to come along with me, but the reality is that Josh, you know, pedo extraordinaire from Blockland 13 years ago, he is the one now that's...
Okay, Godwinson. By that logic, if Jeffrey Epstein came out today and said child trafficking bad and started condemning child trafficking, if he like rose from the dead and started doing that, would you support him? Or how about his partner in crime that's currently being tried for those crimes? If Maxine Griswold was to come out and say, child trafficking's bad, guys, we gotta stop child trafficking. If she went ahead and went out against, like Dick Masterson, could she play the excuse that, oh, this happened years and years ago? Could that be it? And also, I never said that everything they have to say does not matter anymore because they have this fuck up, because they're hypocrites. They could be incidentally right. It's still true. So PPP's lying right there.
Actually calling out pedos and these degenerates. So you know what? I'm going to bat for Josh in this instance.
Yeah. It's not to say I co-sign everything the man's ever said.
Wasn't Josh
but,
like 15 or 16 when those Blockland arguments linked, right? Wasn't he like
So he was
15?
15 and 16, right?
Think
Dick
so,
Masterson is 42 years or 45 years old. He knows his own mind. I imagine Josh at 15. I certainly didn't know my mind at 15. I was doing some fucking crazy shit at 15.
Oh, yeah, I was just doing some crazy shit, like sending threatening, harassing rape fantasies to a 14-year-old girl. This is not normal 15-year-old behavior. This is not some quote-unquote crazy shit. This is abnormal, perverse, deranged behavior. That's not an oopsies. And by the way, that's also a lie. He wasn't 15 at the time. He was 20 years old. And let me show the proof of that. This is Joshua Moon in... if it ever loads. Okay, this is Joshua Moon, 2020 of this year. I am 27 years old and just today discovered that the white puffball seed things that are just dandelions in a mature stage. 27 years old, 2020. You wind the clock back, that'll put him at 19 or 20. Godwinson's full of shit. Godwinson is damage controlling for a pedophile and taking up for a pedophile so he can keep him in his network. So these hypocrites want to say that Dax Herrera deserves to be shot because he's associated with Digibro, a pedophile. But their association with a pedophile, that's not a big deal, guys. They're okay for doing that. They want to take this moral high get on the moral high horse here and say that when their own house isn't clean and in order.
I imagine that Dick Masterson has more of a grip on life than Josh did when he was 15. Dick Masterson is saying this today. Digibro is saying this today. Ralph is doing things today. It's like when Brand says, "What? You hate money? The nose is exposed. Why don't you go after PewDiePie?" Like, get a fucking grip, buddy. We're not going after PewDiePie. Like, you are retarded. Oh, yeah. You know, just because we don't like someone making money doesn't mean that we hate everyone in the world making money. Doesn't mean we're going after the fucking banks. Oh, quick, let's mount a fucking rally on Barclays. Like, get a grip.
And so why aren't you going after the OnlyFans? Oh, it's like, do you really think I can eradicate whoredom from the internet? No, I cannot. Do you know?
No, that's not the argument, PPP. That's not my argument. I'm not saying you can solve every... in fact, you give yourself way too much fucking credit. I don't think you can solve any problem, to be frank. Firstly. And secondly, the problem isn't that you're not going after quote-unquote everybody or OnlyFans or whatever. The problem is you're going after Dax for being for Dax because of association with Digibro, who's a pedophile, when there's there's plenty of dirt and evidence on Josh of him being a pedo too. So yeah, the fact of the matter is you're a hypocrite.
You know what I can eradicate? I can eradicate these fucking people. And the whole thing is, like, we're supposed to have, if you're on the right, a higher set of moral standards.
Okay, no, none of this shit has to do with fucking politics. This is so far removed from the political sphere, it's laughable that you would actually think that you would have that mentality. This is not a right-wing coalition. This is just the drama community or the commentary community. There's no political greater stance here.
It's like, oh, let's criticize Vouch. His fans don't give a shit. Like, they're like, yeah, we love him because he's a degenerate and because he makes the money. So, like, it's just insane. It's just two totally different things. And I'm just tired of having to listen to these fucking faggots sit there and make these false equivalencies or say I'm a Fed because I'm not yelling at Bausch or PewDiePie or a fucking whore on OnlyFans. Like, give me a fucking break.
So what have we got now to field? Is there anything else that the League of Autists want to come at us with? Because we can just address it now and it'll stop, interfering with the fucking crusade against Hitler Dax. Like, I just want to get any fucking...
Okay, yeah, just to address something in the chat real quick because it's funny. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of Dax Herrera. I don't know who got that idea, but it's a good troll. But no, you can watch my previous streams of the issue. You can even rewind the stream back to the beginning, and you can hear my thoughts on Dax there. So, continuing this.
Qualms and criticisms dispelled, or at least try and answer them before we continue. Is there anything, PPP, or was that the one issue of contention?
It was the one issue where he just wouldn't let it go, and I just didn't even respond to him for 3 days because I said, this is just some random spurg spamming me. But then he shows up in the DLive chat. He's like demanding we address it, just spamming it.
Okay, so August 15th, 2020. I'm not sure what problem you're using. I'm not sure what platform you're using these days, so if you already saw this on Twitter, you can ignore this. What is the deal with you and Josh seemingly working together? I asked that on the 15th, and that was at... What time was that at? I don't remember the time, but that was hours apart from one another. You used to hate Josh, now you do streams with him and want his take on opinion on things. I don't get it. A reasonable thing to ask. Also, FYI, you should check audio levels before doing a stream. You're very loud on the mic, and the podcast you play comes in very low. Helpful advice right there. Also, law on pedo shit drawings. Link in that. Also on the death penalty, and I cite a Bible verse. I'm still curious about the Josh thing. Kind of undermines your argument against Digibro and Dax. I'm probably going to talk about some of the stuff on my next stream, FYI. PPP, stop ignoring the chat. People want to know why you are giving Josh a pass. Shut the fuck up with constantly spamming about Josh. I really don't care what you have to say. And then I say this. Okay, well, since you don't care, I may as well tell you the truth. I think you're full of shit, and the reason why I think you're full of shit is the fact that you're willing to compromise your principles by making Faustian bargains with Josh, known pedophile, so that the Kiwis lay off you. End of the day, aside from not having exploited a young, mentally ill woman and marrying her and marring her reputation for the rest of her adult life, you're not too different than Ralph. And then I was blocked, as you can see by this message here. No, PPP's not in the chat. I invited PPP on the stream. He does not want to show up on this one. And the reason he won't is because he's a disingenuous liar who says that I constantly spam him for someone with messages about Josh. I sent him, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4 messages about Josh over a 2-day period. And PPP says I'm sending him 50 messages a day, guys, over 3 days. And I also sent him one message on Twitter, I believe. That was a copy of this one here. So yeah, that's how PPP deals with criticism. He spurgs out, he goes ahead and overreacts, and he does this shit. But he's not done yet. He's not done yet.
The reality is, like, I don't like getting spammed 20 fucking messages a day. Like, if you're interacting with me on Twitter or Discord or wherever in DMs, you got to understand I have about 15 other autistic people sending me the exact same thing you are. So, it's not really that helpful. And I just can't respond to every single crybaby like, you're sucking Josh's penis. Well, that's just your opinion, man. I called out all the Blockland shit 3 months ago. Josh explained himself. I thought it was fine.
I don't know why you guys
I've moved
don't
on
think you really need to
Guys, Josh explained himself. It's fine, guys.
explain yourself, though, PPP. You guys literally interviewed his arch nemesis on air.
This is it, right? So none of these detractors, for all of the years that Vordrak's been active, none of these detractors decided to go and listen to what Vordrak had to say. Do you know what I mean? And yet we're being fucking pilloried and raked over the coals because we're calling generous Josh. Like, come on.
I wouldn't even answer
What's
it. It's
happening
like...
is happening now. Dick Masterson is defending pedophiles in real time. He's saying things that are far eclipsing anything that Josh has ever said. From my knowledge, what he said on Blockland is dwarfed by what Dick Masterson has said tonight. Calling himself the Jesus of pedophiles, saying that child pornography is sophisticated. What about the poor down...
Okay, so they want to make the point that, oh, well, we interviewed his arch nemesis. What the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea in China? You interviewed his arch nemesis and then you decide to make deals with him. You're rolling with Josh. That doesn't change anything. That's a relevant point. Godwinson is... I don't know if Godwinson's just taking the piss because he just doesn't give a fuck, but the argument is just completely bonkers and crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Downtrodden innocent pedophiles. Like, come on. Get out of the delusional reality where Dick Masterson is a king and get a grip.
No, look at him go.
Also, they're saying that I'm defending Dick Masterson by pointing out this hypocrisy. If me calling them hypocrites means okay, whatever. I'm not saying that Dick Masterson doesn't deserve his day of the rope. What I am saying is that if you're going to go ahead making live streams where you autistically scream into a camera about how Dick Masterson needs to be nailed to a cross and his tongue needs to be pulled out or some shit like that, then you should apply the same standard to Josh. 100%.
He goes, you think it's fine that you're friends with a pedophile while saying Dick and Digi need to be shot? Like,
well, that's I'm okay with him. He's cool, but that's John Kelly. He's the guy who had issues with Nick Rakita and Spectre and all that stuff.
So an irrelevant nobody, right, who's been trying to make a name for himself since Gamergate, is like, get a grip.
Yeah, he was the co. Actually, you guys might want to talk to him about the Ralph stuff. He used to be Ralph's co-host. If you ever want to talk to the guy, I know he's kind of like
but now he's not. Now he's been cast into the sands of time along with Fragmenko and the other co-hosts and Wild Goose.
Okay, so now they're making up this lie that I was a Ralph Retort co-host. That never fucking happened. Maybe Brian has got things mixed up in his head because he often does that, but I was on Ralph's stream like 3 times as a guest. That's it. And that was way back in 2015, 2016. I never co-hosted his show ever once. They just want to tie me in with Ralph so they can assassinate my character without justification. That's what's going on here. These people who complain about this same shit that happened to them are now going ahead and using that kind of shit against me. They're making up lies and they twist facts and they go ahead and they use it. And that's why PPP isn't showing up tonight. I went ahead and invited PPP on the stream to go ahead and be here so he can make his case. But he refused to show up. And he just dismissed me as a spurg in the chat and not someone that's worth talking to. PPP, everyone said the same thing to you. The only reason why people started giving you attention is because you're the only one talking out against these people. That's it.
It's like, these are irrelevant. They were only relevant because they were attached to Ralph, and now they're gone. Now they can stay irrelevant. Goodbye.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't know what his deal is with you guys, why he's bringing it up, but I would say John Kelly, they literally interviewed Wardrak in depth.
He's upset because he sent me 50 DMs and I didn't respond because
50 DMs, guys. I sent him 4 DMs about this issue. 4. He wants to make out to be 50.
it's a waste of my time, and there are other things that I'm dealing with in my own life and on the internet that are more pressing than him giving me info that I've already heard a million times and trying to say that I sucked a guy's dick or some shit like this. Like, I'm just not going to waste my time. So he's bumhurt that I didn't give him the time of day because he needs my attention and my validation for some reason for his viewpoint. And now he's going to cry in my chat and say that I worship pedophiles when this whole show is about calling them out today.
Yeah, I don't
so
think...
he can do whatever he wants.
I don't know why he's doing that, but I don't know.
They can't take criticism. That's the thing. The issue isn't that, oh, well, we want to talk about this shit. Well, yeah, you want to talk about this shit, but you want to be guilty of the exact same thing that Dick Masterson's guilty of. At least one of the things, which is his association with Digibro, which you called him out on, and you said that he has to cut him off, and if he doesn't, he deserves to be hanged by the neck till dead. So yeah, PPP, why don't you do the role of favor and just hang your own neck until dead by that logic? Like, it's just messed up. It undermines your stance. It makes you a hypocrite, and it's just puts you in a position where people can easily attack you on it. Like, this Spurg here can make that point and be 100% correct about it.
I worked it out with JMK not too long ago, but he, I don't know why he's doing that. That's kind of weird.
Shall we wrap up then? I've got Witcher 3.
Contrary to Vizarium's opinion that we spent 30 minutes talking about him, we spent about 10 minutes talking about him, and that's all he'll ever get. You won't be allowed on the show.
So what? He wants on the show. Like,
he wants the IBS.
Like,
you hear that, guys? They won't let me on the show. Now they're doing this big, oh, we're the big guys now. We could just block people from going to the show. Aha, we stand for free speech and everything. These guys are so fucking hypocritical. You guys were dismissed over and over again by Ralph, by others as being like, oh, you're just a bunch of spurgs, don't come on the show. I remember back in the day when we had like maybe 15 people watching you, PPP. Like, let's not play this numbers game here. That's some dumb dick ego shit that obviously you're not above. You call that shit out, but then you go ahead and engage in that same behavior. You go ahead, you lie about someone in the chat so you can just dismiss them as a spurg, just like any of the other ones do. This thing that you complained about, other people doing that to you, and then you want to go ahead and act high and mighty on your high horse. Again, the invitation's open for you to come on. I know you won't because you're a coward and a liar and a hypocrite, but it's still there.
Take a long, hard look in the mirror, John Michael Kelly, or whatever the fuck you're called, if you're trying to clout chase us. You know what I mean? We're fucking crazy. We're unhinged. We don't give a fuck, and we're not in it for money, like you and your fucking weird grift that you've been trying to do since Gamergate. Like, don't clout chase us, because it will bite you in the ass, I assume. You'll be burnt by fire, you know? Just go your own way. Try and, look for Queen Anita and all of the conspiracies with Zoe Quinn and, leave us be. Fuck.
No, Godwin said he has a right of reply.
He has a right to reply. You know, it's literally like I'm talking to someone straight out of 2014. Get a grip of your reality and sanity,
He wants
man.
to
Like, what
IBS
the
you guys on this pedophile talk right now. Like he really wants to IBS you guys.
Well, I'm going. I've got Witcher 3. I'm not going to talk to a
I got you.
relevant
Okay.
John Michael Kelly, who used to be Gunt Guard, who used to be Ralph's co-host. Then he decided to snake on Ralph, and then he fell away into the sands of irrelevancy, and then he's been dwelling there for fucking years. And now he wants to come on, like, go away. You know, bring someone who can actually fucking do something, you know, and not drop the ball every time they're past it, Leo.
Yeah. Godwinson just makes shit up. Like, and he's doing it on purpose because he knows I have a point here. They have to make up lies like, oh, I snaked on Ralph, bullshit. Like, I was like tied to the hip to Ralph, that I'm always talking about Gamergate, that I've never moved past that, oh, well, he's irrelevant, guys. Nobody knows or heard of him despite the fact I have all this knowledge on him. Haha. Like, Godwinson is just a liar. That's it. And I get he does that for comedy purposes a lot of the time, but in this particular case, it's essentially, I'll tell you what it is. It's him needing to go ahead and destroy someone's credibility so they never, ever stand up and point out that the Emperor has no clothes on. I know that's kind of like a meme or whatever, but it's true. He doesn't want his own shit being told it stinks. And as far as the whole, oh, John Kelly's in it for clout and money, I've never made a penny off of any of this shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Maybe you're making money for your coke addiction. Maybe. I don't know. But as for me, I know I haven't been making any money. So how dare you tell me that that's all I am doing it for? When I've never taken a penny from this, ever. Never asked for donations. Never got any super chat money. Never got any ad money, etc. Okay. All right. So I think that wraps things up. There's only a couple of other odds and ends. Some people say they want to come in on the show. Let me see if I can set that up. All right, if you want it on the show, I'll let people who have I'll let certain people on the show that I will just, all you have to do is come into the Discord, and if you want to make your case in defense of PPP or whatever, we can talk. And I will post the Discord link. And I'll take a few callers in who want to argue the other side. Okay, so we got someone by the name of Cliff Wallace who wants to come on. So I'm going to drag him in. Okay, you're on the air. Go. Okay, Cliff Wallace. Hef, if you want to come on the show, I'll let you on. Okay, Cliff Wallace, going once, going twice. And I'm gonna move you back to the voice channel. Okay, apparently he was just here to listen. Again, if you want in on the show, come into the Discord, agree to the rules, and then I'll let you on. Okay. Apparently people wanted on, and then there was cries for people to come on. Nobody wanted on. All right. I guess it's a funny troll, I guess. Aside from that, I'm just going to cover a couple of odds and ends real quick, because I did want to call out a couple of commenters in my comments that were trying to like make this argument. Also, I see someone else joined in. I'll drag him in to talk real quick. But before I do that, let me find the right thing, unless I get my things together. Okay, this is the first comment from my YouTube channel, which I'm going to read off. You are a prime example that cockroaches should not be able to have a platform to speak on YouTube, LOL. And this other comment. And you'll see a pattern here in a second. You make it so easy to flag a video on YouTube. There's so much to go on, it's hilarious. I could select like 4 categories and they'd all be valid. Laugh my ass off. So clearly I've been stepping on some toes. Maybe it's because I don't like the Kiwis. Maybe it's because of some other previous gripes that people have had with me. I'm not sure what that is about. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because I'm just going to tell them that, yeah, you can go ahead, try to get my channel flagged, go ahead and take it down. I'm not going to like stop on account of that. I'm not going to be like intimidated or told that, oh yeah, we'll take down your channel. If you do succeed, I'll just move to some other platform to stream. So just wanted to call those out. And I'm going to take a guess that the people are, that those people are from a particular Discord server that I used to encounter in the past. I'll let you guys speculate which one I mean. But anyway, I'm going to invite someone on, someone by the name of Family Sam. If anyone else wants to come on, you got an opportunity now. But if you, I'm not going to be doing this all night. So come in if you want. Join the pub voice channel, and I'll drag you in, but one at a time. Hey, you're on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yoski.
Yeah, what's up?
All right. We still on stream?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now,
what's up?
When you were first talking about how PPE was totally great because you're talking shit about all the people you didn't like already, and I was like, he's not that great. He's kind of fucking retard. What? Why are you now going, hey, this guy's a douchebag, when I already told you he was a fucking douchebag?
Things changed. That's why. The thing that changed for me was the fact that PPP was consistently going after all the people, or at least I thought he was being consistent at the time. And then he decided to do a 180 on a status on Josh. That showed a grave inconsistency, and I decided to look into him. I showed that he was full of shit.
Well, no fucking shit. I fucking told you that none of these fuckers are even remotely close to consistent. Usually, they're just going back and forth against each other. The love of God.
So, what
like
you're
Joshua Moon, he's a complete and total fuck up. I don't know the depths of his fucking retardation, but usually when people are in charge of shit, especially on the interwebs, especially when they have a modicum of power and a lot of birth, they're depraved as fuck. And I've constantly told you this. And your response has always been, well, these people are grifters. And I'm like, well, what about all these people that are pointing that out? They're grifters. This person's not too bad. And you're like, no, fuck them. Burn them at the stake.
Okay, so
God damn
your
it,
argument here is that I was overly charitable to PPP. Got it.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
As far as that
Well played.
particular one, yes, you were very much overly charitable to PPE.
Okay, you know what?
Like,
I don't disagree. You're right. I was overly charitable to him.
You're really harsh on the people that it doesn't make sense to be, and you're really soft on the people that it does make sense to purge at the fucking state until they stab you in the fucking back. Why do you wait until they fucking stab you in the back before you get pissed off at them?
Well, firstly, I was planning on doing the stream before PPP called me out, first and foremost.
I'm talking about the honey badgers, for fuck's sake, at this point.
The honey badgers? What are you talking about?
How many times have you done this, John? How many times?
No, I want to know, what the fuck does the honey badgers have to do with any of this shit? I'm curious. How did I wait for them to stab me in the back? When did that happen?
No. Their thing is you spurred out on them without getting any of the details, and then you spurred down on everybody the fuck else.
What are you talking about?
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. The honey badgers.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't mean a different group?
No, I mean, that's one of the examples that I had. I have a few others.
Okay, so when did I spurg out against the honey badgers? I'm confused by this.
You mean the whole them being grifters, and ever since they got their one thing that you wrote in multiple articles about.
You're talking about some dumb argument
shit.
I had that was done in private years and years ago over the honey badgers. And yeah, they were grifters. They did a stupid lawsuit.
Example, I don't agree with them, and they were also fucked up. But the thing is,
So you're saying the money
All I'm
badgers aren't
saying
grifters? Is that your argument here today on the stream?
No, no. What I'm saying is you have a bad tendency to jump the gun on things and then get into the worst conceivable pool of people, and then when they fuck you over,
I'm not connected with any of
you're
these people. What the fuck are you talking about? That makes no sense. I don't do the networking bullshit, and I don't go ahead and make alliances with people.
I know you don't do the networking people shit.
Then what the fuck do you mean that, oh, well, they fuck you over? What are you talking about?
You were talking about how PPP, they're going after, Dick Masterson. They're going after Nick Rekieta, and they're going after this group. They're going after that group. And I hate those fuckers. So they're fantastic, and they're the best and whatnot. And then when you get a little close to them, when you might actually have a conversation with them, before you even get a chance, but you're just around them to some degree.
Oh, okay, I get it. You're trying to make the case that I
not
backstab PPP. That's your argument now?
No. What I'm saying is
that's what the implication is.
No, the implication is the second that you were talking about them favorably, they backstabbed fucking you.
No.
And you always put yourself in that
What are
situation.
you on about? What do you... PPP never owed me any loyalty to begin with. I never owed him any loyalty to begin with.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is the second you pick a side, the side that you pick doesn't want to deal with you, and so they throw you under the goddamn bus. That's happened a shit ton. For like 4 fucking years. Stop putting yourself in ridiculous situations. Just because you hate somebody, the enemy of your enemy is not necessarily your fucking friend, is what I'm trying to fucking tell you.
I mean, I agree with you on the first point. This just sounds like a reiteration of the first point, only you're just also trying to say that, oh, well, never support anyone because they'll always just go ahead and turn out to be shit later.
Supporting people is fine. There's plenty of times that you have actually supported people that it's been perfectly fine.
Yeah, I have no regrets about marrying PPP stream. I don't. I thought that it should have been married because it was unfairly flagged.
I don't see why you wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, when it comes to mirroring and keeping things going, it doesn't matter even if the person fucking hates you.
So what's the big problem? That I gave PPP a few shoutouts on stream sometimes?
Well, no, it's that you keep putting yourself in a position where you're basically holding somebody up, and then they shit on your face.
Okay, you know what? If my mistake was giving PPP the benefit of the doubt, and that was my big sin, was extending too much charity to someone that seemed like he was somewhat legit. And I've also said in the past, I'm not sure if I went into detail about this on stream, but I've also told people in those conversations that you referenced that happened in private that you came on here to publicly talk about. But I've also said that I think that PPP has gotten a lot of points wrong, and he's being retarded about many things. And then you want to come here and drag all that other shit up.
No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, then why the fuck are you making it sound like I was sucking PPP's cock and had his dick hanging from my mouth?
I think you're more jumping to a conclusion there.
What do you mean I'm jumping to conclusions there? That's you're saying.
No, what I'm saying.
I'm not sure.
No. You were. Listen.
You come off as a certain way that people are going to recognize. So if that's not your point, come off better.
All right, fine. You've talked about how much you hate Nick Rekieta, and you think he's completely retarded about everything, and you've
also
looked
not
into the
that's
law
not
stuff,
that
and you hate
Nick
him.
Rekieta isn't
and
like
you think
100% retarded.
Ty Beer is complete retarded.
Well, yeah, that's
and
true.
He's just a piece of shit lawyer, and this person's dumb, and this person's dumb, and then somebody else comes out to say, "Hey," and talk shit about these people, and immediately
Sam, I'm not here to.
I'm
not here to talk about every topic under the sun with you right now. I'm doing a show about a specific topic.
The specific topic is PPE, and apparently Josh Moon being a weird, creepy pedophile guy, which I'm not entirely sure about. But I mean, that sounds
and you understand,
pretty
and you were
fair.
watching this.
I'm not sure why people didn't notice that earlier.
Yeah. So my question to you then is, if PPP wants to go ahead and say that Dax Herrera should be killed for that, right? Then why the fuck isn't he cleaning up his own house because of Dax Herrera's taking up for Digibro? Why shouldn't PPP either hang himself or clean up his own house?
Wait, time out. One of his personal friends was like covering Digibro's like weird lolly shit.
Yeah, that's what Dax Herrera was doing.
Ooh.
You know that?
Ooh, no, I didn't.
I made that point several times on the air. Yeah, so my issue is with PPP going after Dax Herrera.
I had to cut off. You know about my kiddo. I'm a little busy sometimes, man. I put the headphones out. I didn't hear that part. My bad.
Yeah, it's fine. But you see my point here. You see why I changed my opinion on PPP. Especially after he wouldn't bother to clarify shit, even though he's answered me in the past.
Yeah, I can completely understand. Like, I mean, I think my main issue is that when it's people that you don't like, the people that don't like them, you'll usually jump in and like I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, because I personally do believe in more of the free speech stuff. I know you don't necessarily, but I personally do. So when you jump in because people are being censored to cover that shit, even if I don't like what they say, I agree with you on that one. It's just a lot of the time it seems like the people that you don't like, you'll cover the people that don't like them, and then they fuck you over because they are not consistent, they're liars, and I mean, I think this is the first time you've like tried to say nice things about somebody that may or may not be a pedophile. I don't think I've ever seen that from you before, because you're pretty
Wait a
stringent
minute.
on
I'm
the
not
you hate that
accusing.
shit.
Hang on a second. Watch it with your words.
Not
I'm not
accusing
accusing PPP himself is not a pedophile. At least I don't see any evidence to suggest that. The only thing that I can say in that regard,
He's defending Digibro and likes Digibro. That's
no,
probably a pedophile.
You got your characters mixed up.
Okay, that's my stance.
Dax Herrera is doing that to Digibro. PPP is taking up for and defending Joshua Moon while also networking with him.
Again, if Joshua Moon said weird shit like that, and then you've got another person that's defended Digibro, like, I'll grant you, like, art isn't the exact same thing as doing anything with real lives and whatnot. Fine. You know, depictions of something isn't the real thing, and it's a decent separate. Sure, but still, people that love and are lustful towards lowly shit, and people that defend that, probably an issue. And people that are like, well, you know, that's not an actual problem. That's an actual problem. You should probably deal with that.
Great. I'm glad.
It's
see, here's
one
the thing.
step after another. It's
Here's
a
the
domino effect.
Here's the thing. I agree with your point of view. You know who was defending that shit? Joshua Moon was for years and years and years. And he was actively creating websites with pedophile hubs for that purpose, to defend free speech. So why the fuck is he getting a pass in all this? That's my question. That's a big question that PPP, that he spurgs out on, he gets agitated on. He calls people losers, etc. when they ask him about it, and he won't address it.
So basically, he's trying to suck Josh's dick.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah, and it seems apparent to me that the reason he's doing that is so he doesn't get bullied by the Kiwis.
I don't know if it's a bullied by the Kiwis. I think it might be more of a fan base thing, or a try to, you know, grow an audience thing. But
well, if he's trying to grow
I
an
definitely
audience
see where you're going with there.
Yeah, if he's trying to grow an audience off of Kiwi farms, that's another reason he's shit.
You can't shit on the people that are giving you like views, money, and possibly you can move around.
Yeah, but PPP says he doesn't do it for the money.
Well, if it's not
he
the
says
money,
he doesn't do it for the numbers
usually.
and attention.
It doesn't have to be about the numbers or attention. He's doing it for the influence, for the credibility. And if,
right, he's doing it for the influence
Kiwi
and
Farms fuck with
not
him really fucking hard, his credibility's shot. So that might be part of the reason why he's sucking dick. And if it's not a conscious thing, then it's probably just something as stupid as
the same. Same exact argument can be made in defense of Dax Herrera. Is the problem with that?
Well, I don't know about Dax Herrera. I don't know who that even is, but I will assume yes, it's exactly the same shit.
Yeah. So why is he being a hypocrite about this whole thing?
I can't tell you. I mean, my first thought is anybody that's a hypocrite is completely horribly wrong, and they should be purged from existence with fire.
That's okay. It's a little extreme, but I sympathize with the sentiment.
You've talked to me before. Why are you surprised by this?
All right. Anyway, is there any other points you want to make? Because I want to get to some other callers.
Oh, if you're getting to other callers, that's fan-fucking-tastic. Hopefully they're at least entertaining, because I swear to God, if I have to listen to another fucking hour of everything being bland and you stuttering, I'm going to be pissed.
Lol. Okay. Well, thanks for coming
So
on.
I'll fuck right the hell off. Love you, buddy.
See ya.
Peace.
Okay. I'm gonna go with ear juice or hef. Give me a second. Let's go with we'll do ear juice first, and then we'll go to hef. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, how you doing? So
I'm good. Yourself?
yeah, I'm getting there. It's
All right.
been pretty good. It's been pretty good.
Gotcha.
It's good to see your numbers going up. So
Yeah, I didn't expect to get so many people watching it, tuning in, to be honest.
yeah, I did share it out. So, and I'm sure other people just were swinging past and be like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yeah,
it's good. It's good to see. Hey, so did you see that clip that I sent you about Rambot? Because he was sort of agreeing with everything that you've said, but then he sort of reaches a different conclusion, though.
No, I haven't seen that yet. Is it? Do you think it's worth playing?
It is if you want a good laugh, because he does say the same sort of stuff, but then he comes to the conclusion that PPP is Antifa and working for the FBI.
What? I heard that claim. I heard that claim in chat. Like, what the fuck? Does he
Yeah,
really
that's what I was trying to tell you. That's why I DM'd it to you. It's
Okay.
good. I clipped it down, so it's 12 minutes if you wanted to go through it. But well, like you wouldn't have to play the whole thing.
Okay.
A few minutes would suffice.
All right. So yeah. I'll play it at the end of the stream then, because that sounds entertaining.
It really is, dude. It's definitely worth it. Rambot is fucking insane. It is beautiful. But it does relate to some of the stuff you're saying. So I'd like to get your I would like to get your take on it, like commentary while watching what Rambot's saying. Because you might agree with him up to a certain point and then sort of go off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, that might be the case. Like, sometimes people say retarded shit because they have like good premises, and then they just go like into La La Land, or it'll just be like they'll make a good point, but then the reasoning for how they got there just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I like it's weird how King of Pole's been getting a lot of attention. I know that they boot him off the show pretty quick, because my only interaction really with King of Pole is in relation to you, right? And he comes in and just tells us all this crazy lore that we talked about on the stream that time, like with Spectre. And so I'd have to agree with you. Yeah, it's like, and that's King of Pole's problem, is and it's kind of like Rambot as well, where he just says this crazy wild shit, like that you were a co-host, you're this, you're that, you got raided by the FBI because you had Acid Man, the admin of the GG Reddit, looked into by the ATF or whatever, all of this crazy stuff. And he totally believes it too. And that's why it's a bit weird having, a bit dangerous to have King of Pole around on your stream, because he can be a bit lawless. I like him. Like, he's a nice guy to talk to, but he just seems very lawless. And, and he just comes up with some crazy shit without ever justifying it or showing anything for it.
The thing that gets me about that is, like, I don't get, like, no matter what happens, King of Pole, you say his name 3 times and he appears. I wouldn't be surprised to like look into my chat and yep, there's King of Pole right there. I wouldn't be surprised to have that happen like sometime tonight, I guess, or whatever. But I don't get why they're just taking that face value. Oh yeah, he was a co-host on the Ralph Retort. No, guys, I'm not a fan of Ralph, and I shat on Ralph in unfortunately the stream has been deleted. If I can find it, I might actually play a clip of that. But I broke apart from Ralph completely dissociated with him.
Dude, it doesn't really matter. You had a falling out fucking years ago, and you've been shitting on Gump probably longer than all of us. So
yeah,
it's old lore. Fucking I don't know. I think you're with this whole thing. I'm going to disagree with you on some stuff. I think Hef will sort of break it down a bit better than I will. I think it's a bit of gaslighting. I see where you're coming from though. I do have one question for you, because I know that because you seem to get these hate bonus for stuff, and then so at the moment you're really going in on Kiwi Farms and Josh Moon.
Yep.
Before it's Nick Rekieta. So like, what do you think about Nick Rekieta because I thought I heard you say something about him, and from what I've seen Nick Rekieta say, he said as far as the Dick Madison shit, he is totally against Lolly, thinks it's absolutely fucking disgusting, and thinks Ralph dating a teen is totally wrong. But he says it in a way that a lawyer would say it, where he's not really disowning anybody or doing anything. It's the definite lawyer talk when he talks about it.
Right.
So, do you disagree with that? Like, would you say that no, Nick Rekieta is sticking up for these people and gun guarding?
He's gun guarding to the extent that he's downplaying Ralph's, he's not exonerating Ralph completely. He's gun guarding in a more clever way. First, and he's doing this in two respects. Firstly, he's downplaying Ethan Ralph's the gravity of what he did by saying, "Oh, it's not a big deal, guys. It's not," and giving as much slack as possible. It's not that big a deal. You have to keep in mind she's an adult, which is barely an adult. Come on, let's get real here. And that she manipulated him. Yeah, the 18-year-old victim is the predator in the situation. Come on. And then he goes to the legal shit oh, well, is this really revenge porn? Well, and in court, I can totally see a lawyer making not exactly the same arguments because there's stuff there just doesn't make sense. I mean, I almost if what I might actually do is try get in contact with some other lawyers and stuff that don't have a previous bias or animosity towards Nick and just go, okay, is this stuff that seems crazy to me? Is this guy right on this case or is he not? Because I don't know. He just comes up with stuff that just seems to be based on his own glossing over the law, and then he tells his audience about it. It's not really a formulated opinion. If I was a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, just want to make that clear. I'm not pretending to be. I'm not an expert. Don't quote me on anything when it comes to legal stuff, unless I can show a really good case for it, I guess maybe. But even then, keep that in mind. But when he's making his arguments for Ralph or any other issue, he kind of glosses over what the law says specifically. And then when there's vague questions and stuff, he kind of leaves it hanging in the air without actually addressing it. But he doesn't take those extra steps. For me, I would do one of two things. Probably, maybe even both, depending on the level of research I wanted to do. Either look up case law that backs up this case. And this is something anyone can do, by the way. Just look it up in... if you have access to Westlaw, you can do this. But also, if you could just do some Google search results for cases and stuff like that, you could do it that way. Or, better yet, go to a lawyer who specializes in this particular field and consult with them to get their take on it so you have a better understanding of how this would actually play out.
So, in simple terms, you think that Nick is downplaying what he's saying legally because he's friends with Ethan Ralph.
Yeah,
that's what you're inferring. Yeah, fair enough.
No, I'll just outright state that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd say he's more downplaying shit. Not just in a legal sense though, but also in a kind of a moral sense as well. I will say though that he did say on stream something along lines also on that note, he said something really bizarre to me, and I wasn't really gonna get into this tonight because it wasn't really all that relevant. It's kind of yeah, but just off the cuff, because I did listen to this segment that he did where covering the lolly shit and the revenge porn shit. He did say that, this issue, if he said words along the lines of, if this doesn't affect me, I don't care, it's not my problem. But wait, you got involved with the Vic case. That didn't affect you in any way at all by that logic. Maybe in some nebulous sense, but also Ralph preying on teenagers over the internet does affect society in a nebulous sense as well. So you end up with, I don't get that take. I understand the take of, if it was my daughter, I'm the dad, I'm going to be the tough guy, I'm going to shoot the bastard. Even if they wouldn't really do that. But, so it's not like he's outright condoning Ralph's actions, but he's definitely doing PR and spin and damage control for him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good work, sir. I think that PPP is totally blown out. I think you win. You're the ultimate moral faggot, John Kelly, and you've done very well tonight. It's a great stream.
Well,
no, but do play that Rambot clip, dude. But yeah, Hey, I will agree with you. PvP does not like to fucking debate Spurgs and people that are calling him e-grifters and that, because there's been a few others, and they're like, "Oh, can you get us on Kinodrome?" So I'll go talk to him. He's like, "No," but I'll ask on your behalf if you want to come on Kinodrome. I'll at least ask PvP. So, is that what you want to do?
No, I'm not. I know that I'm aware of Kinodrome existing. I'm aware of PPP making a call out for people to come on, debate him and stuff like that. But I have no interest at this point of going to show. Not just because of like aforementioned reasons of his character, but also because he said outright on stream that, oh, I'm not going to have you on your show ever. So then the question becomes, why would I want to go ahead and crawl to you and beg to be on your show? It's just not a good thing. He's more than welcome to come here, because like I don't like talking shit about people and not having a chance to respond. So
yeah, well, that's hey, it's like when you talk shit about me. You did let me on. So.
Yep, exactly.
That's it. All right, there's other people, so I'll jump out. Thanks, John Kelly. PPP blown out. Yo.
Have a good night. All right, next caller to come in is Hef. Hey, Hef, you're on the air. Hello?
Oh, there we go. Don't listen to that condescending Kiwi faggot. You fucking smoked them, dude.
Lol. Not sure if you're being serious or not.
I'm absolutely being serious. You've got him on the fucking run, man.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, like...
He wouldn't... what? He was talking so much shit. Wouldn't even address your points. He just tried to dismiss you and call you some sort of fucking spurg.
Yeah, that's how...
You nailed him. You fucking nailed him. You cornered him. What's he gonna do now? How could he recover from this? You pinned him.
Good point. I think you are right in that analysis when you put it like that.
How I mean, he's a complete hypocrite. All right, so here's what I think.
Sure.
You should proceed from here. You've got to lead this crusade yourself, man.
You think I should be the one tearing down the pedophiles?
Of course.
I mean, like...
Listen, I could talk to PPP. Because I already know that he's tired of this shit. I could talk to PPP, and maybe I can convince him with like the help of your juice, if he's not completely fucking retarded, and to pass on the torch, to lead the fucking crusade.
But
to end these faggots, because they've got to go. You've been doing this for years, John. It's about time that you took the fucking stage and did it. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't. I don't. Well, I think you're wrong in this sense. Like, sure. I mean, arguably, maybe I could. Like, you know, here's the thing. I don't think you can kill an e-celeb at the end of the day. What I mean by that is you can't utterly destroy the reputation. They're always going to come back up. So
they're always going to have their core.
Yeah,
it's going to latch onto them and stick onto them like some sort of indestructible tick of some sort. But like you could still tear them down, expose them fully, and we need a pure soul to do it.
I wouldn't call myself a pure soul. Firstly, I've done stupid shit in the past, and also like I don't want to like I think this is like a setup. Like forgive me if this is not a bit, but it does sound like the setup for a bit. Like I don't think that what people need is like someone to like guide people by the hands to show these people are shit. I think anyone can show these people are shit at the end of the day.
Everybody does. What are you talking about? People don't need somebody to lead them.
Well, I think that like I do think I did make a point earlier when it comes to like the greater sphere of things that you do need people to have those points, but I'm not sure if I'm the guy to tackle it is the thing.
Well, who else is going to do it?
You got a point there.
Godwinson?
No, I wouldn't trust. Like Godwinson is funny to me. I'll admit that, but half the shit he says is just like bullshit for the sake of entertainment, and I don't know how many people have caught on to that.
Well, it's not going to be PPP.
No, it's not. I mean,
what other options? Jim, for fuck's sake.
No, Jim seems to have moved on. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even have an issue with Jim at this point if he just took down his subscribe star and like the YouTube membership thing. Like, and yeah,
he's just sitting back collecting fucking Patreon check. Is he even on Patreon anymore? Who cares?
Yeah.
To hell with Jim. Who else? Who else is there?
I don't
we
know
need
if
a champion for this cause, John. And
Look.
it's got to be you. Who else is there?
I don't want to say something hubristic or silly like, oh yeah, I'm the people's champion or something like that.
You can be. We'll make you the people's champ.
Well, I will say this though. I do plan on doing here's the thing, because PPP does make some valid points in some of his rantings and ramblings when he isn't being a complete spurg. There are some good points there. This stuff should not be tolerated. This stuff shouldn't be accepted under free speech. This is not okay. This is not cool. It's not okay that Digibro is like whacking it to lolicon people's response to that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. No, there should be like a zero tolerance policy for this kind of shit. So I will be doing another.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I will be doing a stream like pointing all this shit out, and I'm not going to be like leaving out shit. Like I'm not going to be like make exceptions at all. Like if you're caught involved with this pedo shit kind of stuff,
execution on the spot.
Yeah, pretty much. At the very least, you deserve execution. I'll say that.
Yep. Just a couple suggestions.
Yeah, sure.
If you are going to do this, maybe like a little background music, and build a little hype, add a little showmanship to it, excite the people.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that. Like I did that with that's kind of why I have the spoiler. That's kind of why I have the music in front of the streams, like to get people in the mood to like listen, to be prepared and listen to stuff going on.
Yeah, get some good background music. Juice will probably help you out with that.
Well, Juice is good with sound, so if he wants to help, he can.
All right, that's you got a job there, your Juice. Make a dope ass, hype, fucking epic John Kelly background music.
Yeah,
keep it up. Look at your numbers; you're crushing it.
Yeah, I apparently Ear Juice was spreading around and got a lot of attention to the stream. Maybe it's because PPP's in the title. I don't know. But yeah, I could easily do more streams like this. Definitely. But I do have a question. You did ask in the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, keep exposing them. Call out the fucking hypocrites and the grifters.
Oh, there was something you said in chat, that the post I referenced didn't have the right date on it or something like that?
Yeah, because I've heard this before. Something about that specific blog post has a date on it that people refer to, but I don't know what the fucking date of the original comments that he made, what that date is.
That's a good point. I don't know when the specific date is, but the problem with that is, hang on a second, let me get the block post up for the audience.
Here nor there.
Gotcha.
The point still stands.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah.
Get him.
All right.
People's champ, John, the people's champ.
If people want to see, if people want me to do more streams like exposing pedophiles, yeah, I'll do some more streams exposing them. I don't fucking like pedophiles at all.
Nail them to the fucking wall.
Yeah.
You should go in the Kinodrome and just start slapping people around. Steal the fucking show from PPP. Just do it.
Well, maybe
go on his own show, blast them the fuck out, and then just make your own Kinodrome channel and watch. If you build it, they will come.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind.
All right.
All right. Got any more comments?
No. That's about it.
All right. Have a good night, man. Okay. So that wraps that up. Doesn't seem to be any more callers coming in. So I think that's it. The last thing I'm going to do is, let's see. I was going to play something else, but let me go over. Give me a second. I'm not going to play this whole thing. All right. Apparently, Randbot went on a really mad raving and ranting. I'm going to play some of that on stream. Once I can find it. You'll have to give me a moment. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna put it up.
Has only.
Okay, right. I'm gonna play a couple minutes of this, and then I'm gonna close it out. This is Ear Juices, Randbots, Rant, PPP, Godwinson, Anifa, Hope Not Hate, FBI, etc., etc.
Very recently been 18. So it does raise the question whether those those pictures and whatever other content was sent were within that brief window of legality, or whether he was in fact being directed by PPP and everyone else who's on this this grand and totally justifiable moral crusade, whether or not he was that encouraged a meth addict, a vulnerable person, to digitally distribute child pornography to get a reaction out of Ralph, which apparently he did, because Ralph sent back the video that we've all seen. Noticeably, we have not seen the images that the ex-boyfriend was sending to Ralph, which does raise some questions. They're certainly not modest when it comes to shitting on everyone and everything in relation to their target. So how come they didn't distribute the media that the boyfriend was sending to Ralph? Rather suspicious. They wouldn't have knowingly and deliberately encouraged someone to commit a felony offence, would they? So where are these pictures? Where are these images? We don't know. We've only got the video that was sent back.
No.
You imagine being on a moral crusade, building your entire thing around, I want to do the right and moral thing, and I've had enough of these immoral grifters, and somewhere along your crusade you find yourself involved in the distribution of child pornography? And you do that by using a meth addict?
Yeah, sounds exactly like Antifa to me. They went down the same fucking path.
Oh, did you just say Antifa? Oh, I was going to get to that later.
Okay, I'm not sure what this is about, but holy shit, this guy's really weird, off the rails. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna play this whole thing. I'll leave a link to this in the description. In fact, I can do that. I'll do that as soon as I end the stream. But it is getting late, and this guy's incoherent rants and ravings is just way too incoherent for me to actually digest at this point. So at this point, I have no idea. Apparently the whole thing with Ralph sending revenge porn was a plot by Antifa, and PPP may have been involved. What the fuck? I don't know. I can't even. Ranba is just. I'll have to listen to that later. Try to unpackage that. All right. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. I thank you all for coming. I didn't expect this much numbers tonight. Appreciate it, though. You'll have a good night. Appreciate every single one of your comments. And peace out.